Calm.
Okay, so you talked about there, you said heal the self first. Like in order for us to heal ourselves, we do have to first shine the light upon ourselves. So we have to empower ourselves or connect with God and recognize what God is or source is, or the infinite intelligence, what that is for us. We need to define it for ourselves. We need to find that space within ourselves. We need to recognize the separation between the ego, I believe, the ego identity and the spirit body. Because I think, there is me, John DePass, the physical body, the arms and the legs. There's me, John DePass, the mental body, the thoughts, perhaps the words could fall in there. There is me, the emotional body, that sometimes I'm sad, sometimes I'm glad. And then there's me, the spirit body. And I like to say that the true self is me, the oneness, the spirit body. This is the true self. Could you please comment on my interpretation of who I am?
Well, interestingly enough, who you are cannot be interpreted, because all of that is labels, and who we really are can only be experienced. When we try to define ourselves, then we're doing the best to shine the light on who we are, but when we really take that final step, it's in the stillness of being. When we find out who we are, we know who as well, because when we are still, when we're in the stillness of being, then that is in Theos, that is in God. And until we're fully standing in that, we do not know ourselves. And when I talk about selves, I'm talking about the big S. And of course, in terms of healing ourselves, I'd be talking about the little self, the one that's been conditioned and acculturated. Those are the things that we have to take care of, because what happens is our past trips us up. It not only trips us up, it defines us. And many people will live and die and never wake up to who they are. We all have moments of that. Many moments that pass through the day where we are passing in and out of that realization, but we don't know it. It's just so ordinary to us. When you see your dog and you are delightful, or you're just at night sometimes at rest and everything is done and there's this deep peace, well, that is who we are. That we're experiencing it because there's no thought, there's nothing in the way that we have to do. We're not saying, oh, I got to get such and such done. When we're in those peaceful moments, then we do know God. We're looking for some kind of theology. We're looking for words. We're looking for codes. We're looking for rules. We're looking for laws. Those can exist, but they're only signposts to get to a place where the mind is still in us. Be still and know that I am God is not just a fantasy. It is a truth.
Okay, so I always encourage my customers to recognize that, hey, if I want to lose this weight and keep it off is the big thing. Is I don't just want to lose it. If I just want to lose it, I can just eat this diet and do this exercise and I'll lose the weight. But if I want to keep it off for good, I need to change me. So if I want to change me, I need to change the way that I think and the way that I speak. And that needs to be kind of a lifestyle change, a permanent change in the self, which means I need to develop new habits and new behaviors that are creating a new subconscious pattern, create a new subconscious pattern that's learned pattern, that now my new self is actually thinking and speaking and doing different things than my old self was. So I tell people the best time of day to change your mind and create and work on the new version of you is first thing in the morning when we get up, or again at the end of the night before we go to bed. Now, some people are more night hawk type people, and some people are more early riser type people. Whichever type of person you are, wonderful, good, that's where you do it. But it's to be quiet and be still, and like you said, be mindful or meditative or working on your breath, or just be conscious at that time. It can be as simple as that.
Yes, a weight thing is something I've definitely dealt with throughout my life, because as a woman, you may not know, but as women age, their hormones change. And so for every pound a woman loses, she has to do 4 times more work than a man for the same outcome because of our hormones and the way that the body holds on to its weight. And so that means that it takes a tremendous amount of self identification with a thin body. And I like to say, if someone wants to be thin, we have to be thin on the inside first. And that's to visualize and picture myself being thin. I'm doing these workouts. I'm constantly changing my workouts, but there's a lot I do, and I'm doing some yoga lattes. And in the yoga lattes, there's a lot of the plank pose. And my upper body strength is not as strong as it could or should be. And so when I do this, as I'm doing it, I picture myself very, very strong. I picture my arms very, very strong. And when if I'm doing crunches or something, because I have scoliosis, I picture light running up and down my back. And when I want to think about my weight, I picture myself in a thinner outfit, in an outfit that maybe doesn't fit me anymore. Now I will say I've never been overweight, but one thing I have always said, would you rather learn how to have a healthy weight from somebody who's always maintained their weight, or from somebody that's been out of control? There is with their weight, and they've lost and they've gained and they've lost and they're gained. There is advantage, of course, to talking to somebody that you can understand and you can join with, and you have some of the same experiences and stories. But yet, in order to maintain fitness, it is an ongoing lifestyle. It's definitely not something that we do we do it moment by moment, not just for a few moments. So the visualization, which I think is just paramount, is constantly seeing myself. If I look at my stomach, I don't see what I see now. What I do, because women tend to gain weight after age 50. I think they start gaining in their middle. When I look at it, I see slim abs. That's what I see. I don't see what my stomach looks like now. I see slim and trim abs, and I think it's really helped. I mean, of my friends, I'm one of the slimmest people around, and my husband, you're really a hot 70-year-old, and I'm not doing it in order to be a hot 70-year-old. I don't mind that, but I'm doing it because I feel so much better when I do that. I'm doing it for my health.
Fantastic. What a share. 70 years old. Thank you so much for disclosing that with us. That's so magical. I want to touch on a couple things there. You said, I think I heard you say, thin is a mindset.
Yes. Did you want me to elaborate on it?
Okay.
Or do you want to elaborate on it?
I have a couple things I want to.
Yeah, go. That's great.
Thin is a mindset. Poverty is a mindset. Obesity is a mindset. Disease is a mindset. Victimhood, victimness, trauma, pain, you name it. It's a mindset.
Absolutely.
There we go. A lady with a lifetime experience in 5 books.
I will say that my easiosophy, the philosophy that I introduced in the 80s, which is introducing the whole concept to the spiritual narrative about ease, E-A-S-E, that ease, and I know that in Canada your Z is Z, and in English it's a Z, but it's spelled E-Z, which would be E-Z, meaning easiosophy, the philosophy of ease. It's about that most of the upsets that we have they're from our mind, that we're addicted to the drama, that we have the internal drama of worry, the internal drama of suffering, and so every lives can be easy, or at least easier. It can be easy if it's made up by our egoic mind, and it can be easier if it's something that's really difficult, because there's always strength that we can pull on from the inner strength, their spiritual strength, or hold hands with our friends and they'll help us along. I don't mean that they will for us. I mean, they'll say, I'm with you and I can see that you're a great person having a terrible time. So this drama and the suffering by the ego is something that we need to pay attention to in our culture.
Okay, so a little bit further, when you're exercising, you focus on attaining the body that you want. You focus on having the strength that you want, not on the fact that you're in the posture and it's so painful or it's so uncomfortable, or you've got to go get your kids after school, or you've got to go get your grocery shopping done, or you're making your dinner plans, or...
Yeah, what I out is that I will picture what I want to look like, and I will also give myself messages. For example, I'm very inspired by the woman that lives in New York 100 years old that's a yoga instructor. And so if I'll be doing an asana or something that I find difficult, I'll go, come on, Anne, this lady in New York is 100 years old. You don't have to think that you're getting old and decrepit. Come on.
Sorry, how old is she?
100.
100 years old. So you compare yourself to someone that has more age and is still doing it.
Yeah, and still doing it. And I don't know if you know Ernestine Shepherd. She must be like 80 years old now. She's a weightlifter, and she didn't start.
Bodybuilder?
Yeah, she's a bodybuilder, and she didn't
into
start.
Her 80s, I believe. Yes.
Yes, and she didn't start until a long time ago. And I will listen. Everyone will get hers out and say, "Look at how Ernestine looks." So I use these models, and even as I told you, you were a model for me when I was doing a limited fast yesterday, and I saw your video, and you said I haven't eaten since Sunday, and I go, all of a sudden my hunger disappeared, my stress disappeared. It's because I thought I don't have to have this. It was just miraculous. It disappeared because I looked at your video that you sent.
Isn't this how God is working with us? Isn't this how the source is working with us? We're a community. We're a healing community. We need each other to grow and to heal. And my message that was coming from my spirit, and I was shining my light, it fell upon you, and you are open to receive it. And
yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, my husband also, I was telling my husband about you because he just started on a new fitness program. He's 72, and so he's doing fasting for once a week, and he's good at water fasting. And I said, you got to see this guy. And I told him about it. I said, he does water fast.
Oh.
Yeah, so anyway, that's very, very cool.
Amazing. So you touched on visualization there. I don't like to tell people, you know what, it has to be this or it has to be that. But I do usually introduce my clients to three things. One, I always introduce to gratitude and the energy of gratitude. I think it's a real simple way to start.
Can you hear me? Can you hear my dog?
Oh, no trouble.
Is it bad? I can't get my husband to tell him to come get her.
It's okay. I introduce my customers to gratitude as something they could do in the mornings or evening. Bring yourself to gratitude. I tell my customers to maybe think about the I am, the words I am, and the words they choose to put after I am. So I'll give them some I am videos to listen to. So I am affirmation videos. And then hopefully to actually get them to actually create their own I am affirmations with time. Not immediately, but if they're listening to I am affirmations for a while, that eventually they'll be able to start creating their own I am affirmations. And then the next thing that I do like to encourage clients to do is to come up with their own goals. So to have goals in different segments of their life. Their personal goals, health and self-esteem, maybe weight loss, weight gain, whatever their physical goals are, overcoming a sickness, illness, or disease, changing their energy. These will be personal goals. Having relationship goals for their partner, for their immediate relationship, maybe for their children, for their extended relationships, their families and friends. And then also goals for obviously their finances, for their careers, for what they want to do in the future, maybe some vacations for the year, maybe things they want to accomplish, adventure goals. And then also goals for how they want to give back. And these are goals that I think are universal for the coaching world. If you look at the top coaches in the world, you'll see these ideas as kind of goals that we need to have to be fulfilled. We need to have an idea, maybe not a clear idea, but maybe we're going to be starting to think about ourselves in this way, what we want to accomplish in these areas of the life. And if we're not sure yet, then we've got to ask ourselves some key questions. What do I need to learn? What do I need to know? And put that out into the universe. And then that's how we get the answers back. You saw my light being shined yesterday. You heard it. You were open and you received it. So we put out there these questions and then the answers come. I didn't know that I was going to be speaking with you. I didn't know what we were going to be speaking about. I didn't know that I was going to meet you. However, I have met you because I was open to receive contact with you, and I'm grateful that I have met you and that you've delivered such a valuable message already for me today.
Oh, thank you so much. I like the idea, and I have in my book a section on visions, And I like the idea of vision. I think that a vision is somewhat of a goal that's infused with divinity. It's something that's calling to us. I know what a goal does. What a goal does is that we have a blank slate and we look at that, it's like, ugh. But when we put a goal down there, we see something that gives us some kind of direction for the day, and it gives us some time, and it gives us momentum. And so the goal is really good as long as it inspires us. Now, when the goal becomes a prison, then we have to learn that we need to change, do something else because it's no longer working. I found that that's the problem with fundamentalism. Fundamentalism will find one thing and say, I always need to do this. And so if we set a goal, it's okay to change it. It's okay to say, this is not really what I'm about anymore. I thought it was. It inspired me 3 weeks ago, but it's not good anymore. So we need to be sure that we stay in touch with our intuition and we have that vision infused with our goal, that it's not just something that our mind's telling us to do because we think we're not enough. And it gives us this idea that we should have a lofty goal and we're going to fail and then we're miserable. So we have to be very spiritually in touch when we set our goals.
Okay, some great stuff there. One thing, yes, goals can be our nemesis as well as our savior. Goals are a wonderful way to start. So I like to start my customers thinking about gratitude, I am, affirmations, and goals. These are just things that I'm introducing them to be introduced to the idea of the mindset and managing the mind and thought. Let them gravitate to whatever they like, but this is just a way to kind of introduce them to it. But I agree completely. We don't want to get so attached to the goal that we get upset that we didn't lose weight this week or we didn't lose enough weight this week, right? So the other part about goals is I say there's kind of two sides to it. It's a double-edged sword. The goal is wonderful because it helps us strive forward and it helps to give us some momentum. But the other side to what I think is important here is coming up from the energy within the self and just being with that energy and then allowing whatever is to come to come. So yes, it's great to have the goal in front, but it's also great to kind of accept what is happening along the way. And that's just being present. That's just sitting with the energy that's within me. That's just sitting with the godliness or the source that's with me and accepting that the source that's within me will attract to me exactly what I need to know and hear today. Here I am with you today and exactly what I needed to hear and speak about today to help me heal and be the best light that I can be for everyone else that I meet. You are my coach and my teacher for today because that is what I needed. I had a goal to have a program today. I set that goal and that intention out to have a program for today, but I didn't know that Anne, the perfect coach for me, would arrive. I found Anne by stepping into my center and being with my center. Anne arrived.